Welcome everyone to the Mindful Moments segment. Today I'm really excited to have Cherine Kurdi with us. I have known her for many years, and she's just such a bright light in the women's entrepreneurship field. She's a US certified women's leadership expert, and she works between the UAE, Lebanon, and Europe. She has 15 years experience in corporate and life coaching, and she works mostly online with international high achieving empathic entrepreneurial women who are overthinking a bit and who long to feel confident about themselves and their potential. She's the creator of the Do What Lights You Up course, which is an online female leadership experience to help women lead with more self-trust, purpose, and joy in life. And she's worked with so many people. 400 people have gone through her program, from students to entrepreneurs to professionals in many different fields. And they are looking to uncover their unique zone of genius, which Cherine is great at helping people to discover. But she has a new book out called Do What Lights You Up, which helps people uncover their passion and purpose. And she's here to tell us a little bit about that today. So welcome, Cherine, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Helen, for the introduction. I am delighted to be here, and I'm excited about this new journey with the book. It's been a journey to actually put it out there.
I can imagine, especially in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes. I actually I started writing in June 2020. It was not planned. It was not on my to-do list. Actually, when I set my goals for 2020, I had a lot of things that I wanted to do, and then 2020 happened, and it was so unexpected. It completely shifted my goals, and my priorities just became shifted to something else. And I realized that because I slowed down a bit. I just had delivered a baby boy, Liam, and so I knew that 2020 was going to be slower for me. I wanted it to be more into cocooning and taking my time, seeing my son growing in that first year. But I hadn't really put in my intention that I was going to write a book. And then what happened is, because I slowed down, I said to myself, wait a minute, this is the perfect time for me to write. And I remembered a friend telling me, Cherine, look, if you want to write a book, you'd rather write it before your child becomes a toddler, because then it's going to be so difficult. When he starts walking, it's going to be so difficult for you to write, to have 5 minutes, uninterrupted. Exactly. And so I did start writing the book in June. And it just flowed. And I said to myself, well, at first, it wasn't clear for me, what did I want to focus? I mean, I knew I wanted to write about passion and purpose, but it wasn't really clear to me until I sat down and said to myself, what is the message that I want to share with the world? What have I been talking about for the past 20 years?
Right.
and the words flowed. And I said to myself, I want to talk as if I'm talking to a friend or a client or someone who really is struggling with, being at crossroads and asking themselves the big questions, who am I? What do I want to do now? What am I good at? Where do I want to put my heart, soul, and intention? Or someone who has been doing what they love, and then all of a sudden they realize, wait a minute, I want to change direction. I changed my mind. I don't want to do this anymore. And this happens a lot to women, passionate women who realize that, their priorities have changed or their interests have changed. And sometimes we feel a bit scared to say, hey, I want different things. So the book also invites seekers to be okay with change, to be okay with reinventing themselves, to be okay with changing their mind and doing something else, as much as the book helps the reader really get in touch with themselves, and that they don't need to like they don't need to look for, like, they're whole with their zone of genius, with their talents, with their unique potential as humans, because very often what I've noticed with the people I get to work with is, there's something that's not working and I need to be better at this and I need to be better at that. And so the book also invites the reader to look at what are you good at already and capitalize on that, leverage that, put your joy on that, because it comes so naturally to you.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love, all the things that you said. And I think there's often a lot of fear, isn't there, about, things are going okay, but you kind of lose that drive, or and it's you have this kind of dream about something else, that it's safe to just stay where you are doing what you do, which you still enjoy, and things that you kind of have other vision. So I love the title of the book, Cherine. How did you come up with that?
So do what lights you up.
Such a great title.
By the way, it is so interesting that you're asking me this question. What happened is I had finished the manuscript and I did not have a title. And I stayed literally probably 3 weeks wondering what the title was going to be. And then after those 3 weeks, I realized that I was like, what am I talking about? And where have I said my message before, And then I traced back, and everywhere where I, talk about what I do, somehow I say, people have to go back and really focus on what lights them up. And so it's part of my lingo, and it's what I say to my client, refocus on, be what lights you up, do what lights you up. And I was like, that's the title.
So
well, that's that. So the title came in that way. And also, when around the time where I was nearly done, I was probably 70% done with the manuscript. So I live in Beirut, and on the 4th of August, we experienced like a devastating explosion.
Yeah.
And I was actually writing in my office, and I ran when the explosion happened, the first one, like I ran to grab Liam. And I didn't know what was happening, so I went into a place where I could be sheltered in our home. And after what happened, it took me 2 weeks to kind of get back to my senses, because I felt like I was on it's probably
traumatic. Yeah.
Like I had nightmares. I would wake up in the middle of the night. Like I felt like I was bruised and in pain everywhere. It took me 2 weeks to feel myself like that. I'm back into myself. Yeah. So I was thinking, like, what is the point of writing this book about do what lights you up when there is so much devastation around me, where everybody is just like busy in consensus reality, and where things are a bit hard right now and difficult. And then I was like, but this is actually the perfect moment for me to put this book out there. Now is the time for me to actually, it's even more important right now to put it out there, because even myself, I'm being challenged with filling my days with optimism and keep moving forward and ahead without escaping the harshness of our day-to-day, but just deciding to be standing on the sunny side of the street versus, the dark side of the street. And And so I said to myself, I will not give in to my inner critic, and I will keep going. And that was the last stretch.
Right.
And I said to myself, it is important even for me to know that I can keep doing what lights me up. I can still make choices that feel good, that are joyful, even if my circumstances is difficult. And I feel that because I was put in this reality, even for me, the book has, it becomes more meaningful. And it reminded me that we can always find joy in difficult moments. We can always create space for things that feels good. And it is in those difficult moments that we need to do that. So it was a big lesson for me. And also I had to model one of my chapters in the book is called Fire Your Inner Critic, because when we want to go do things that we love, inner criticism bombards us, blocks us. We start getting in our way. You know how it's human. It's human. And so I decided to say, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to choose, to keep going. And so the book is out into the world, and it feels good that it was done.
Yeah, it's an amazing accomplishment, and I think it'll help so many women, that are have that little voice in their head saying, "I want to do this, but I'm not sure." So, what would be your hope? That from people reading the book, that they would take away and be able to bring into their lives after reading it.
I love your question. So my hope is that women give themselves permission to really go for what they want to do and not feel guilty about it. Because being yourself and doing what you love, in my opinion, should be a foundation to our life. And that it's okay to change, it's okay to want different things, and it's okay to stand up and say, hey, this is what I love and I'm gonna go for it. I feel that at this moment, fulfillment, like mindfulness, should be a foundation to how we educate people in the world. Because I've seen enough of people saying, oh, I want to please my parents, I want to please society, this is how I should do things, and then they're miserable. So to give themselves permission and to make it okay to change, to make it okay to do, to go and do things that you love to do. My hope as well is that women realize that they are unique in what they offer in the world, and they don't need to go and research, how can I be better at this or how can I be better at that? Like, you can just go inward and see the beautiful gifts that you have inside and how you can bring those gifts into the world in a way that feels so natural to you and you don't have to do any efforts. My hope as well is that this becomes a conversation with people. How can we support each other to do what we love? How can we not only support each other, but cheer each other, champion each other, remind each other of what we're good at, and say, hey, you can totally do this. You can totally go for what you want when you put your focus on it. I wanted to spark conversations, and I would love as well for the women to read it, to realize that in their education, that they can educate their kids to support them with their unique potential, that they do not need to be better at this or better at that, that they're already great in many ways, and to be curious about their potential and uniqueness, and to bring this more on the forefront, and to have discussions with their kids. How can we leverage your gifts? How can we leverage what you're good at? How can we leverage your personality and interests? That would be like
beautiful.
fantastic.
And I mean, I hear a lot, and I'm sure you do as well, that, you know, people have this idea, this dream, and they really feel it, but then they think, oh, there's so many other people doing something similar. But as you're saying, this uniqueness and all the unique experiences of each person,
Absolutely.
a different
Absolutely. And I love that you said that, because one of the inner critics and that stops people from going forward is that what I'm doing is, I mean, it's been done before. We are not reinventing the wheel. So many things have been done before. Yes, but you will do it with your unique flavor, with your unique personality, with your quirkiness. And the book actually helps you to realize that, yes, you have your unique mark, and what is it? And to really voice it from a place of being assertive and proud to boast who you are and how you like to do things in your own particular way.
Yeah, so it's such a one important message, I think, and I love, you know, how you said to share that with your children as well. What about I think sometimes we are like, yes, you know, I'm going for it. This is what I'm meant to do, and then we get stuck, you know, whether it's with technology or just our mindset. What's your advice to people who you know, because lots of people give up at that point, right? And then that little voice is there, keeps coming back.
Oh, I love that question. Look, it's especially women who tend to be overachievers and multi-passionate. They want to do everything. And so they think that I'm not good at this, I have to be good at that. So I go and I have to learn this thing and I have to nail it. I would say, you need to generally know about something, but focus on your zone of genius and learn to delegate to other people who this is their zone of genius. And delegation is a skill that we need to learn if we tend to be someone who wants to figure out everything. We have to learn, and I include myself in that group of people because when we don't delegate something we're not good at, we lower our self-confidence and we dilute our zone of genius, and we think we need to be good at everything. No, we cannot be good at everything. We can learn things, we can know about things, but there's a moment we need to put a boundary. And so my advice is learn to put a boundary and to be clear about what you want to take on and that you're good at, and what you're not really good at and it doesn't bring you joy, and you know that somebody else can do it for you, then delegate that.
Right. Yeah. Such good advice, because we can spend hours trying.
We can spend hours, because I tell you, the main message that women send to their brain is, I'm not good enough. And we don't need that. We need to say, yeah, I'm good enough in what I do, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that thing is not it's not my thing. I'm not good at this, and I don't want to be good at that in a million years. So it has to be set from a place of confidence to say, hey, boundary, I'll give it to someone else.
I love that. So, well, congratulations again on this wonderful book. Just before we end, is there any last message you'd like? And also, where can we find the book?
Okay, so my last message is keep trusting yourself, no matter what. Keep going for your dreams, no matter what. and you have that unique gift inside of you. Make sure you know what it is so you can offer it to yourself first and to the world. The book can be found internationally. You can find it on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble, online. It's available physically and electronically. And you can also, if you want to support your local business, you can ask your local business to order it for you so you can buy it from them. So you can find it anywhere in the world.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have the link to Cherine's website, social media, so we can learn more about her, and of course to the book as well. I have ordered my copy and I'm waiting for it to come. Really looking forward to read it. Thanks again, Cherine, for coming on and sharing with us today.
Thank you so much for your spotlight.